Most people think that when a cop says they smell marijuana, honesty is the best policy. I've watched people turn simple traffic stops into DUI arrests and drug charges just because they said the wrong thing. In some states, that smell alone can justify a full vehicle search. In others, it triggers a DUI investigation even if you're sober. So in this video, I'm breaking down the 5 things you should never admit when cops smell weed. Because what you say can mean the difference between driving away and sitting in handcuffs. Number 1. Yeah, it's mine. An officer walks up, shines a flashlight inside, and says, "I smell marijuana. Is there anything in the vehicle I should know about?" Because you're nervous, you blurt out, "Yeah, officer, it's mine." Congratulations. You just confessed to a crime on camera. Picture this. You get pulled over for a broken taillight. The officer smells weed. Maybe you smoked days ago. Maybe your friend left something in the car. But the moment you say, "It's mine," you've admitted possession. That's evidence. Your own words become Exhibit A. Here's the kicker. Cops know this. That's why they phrase it casually. Is there anything in the vehicle I should know about? It sounds friendly, but it's a fishing expedition. They're hoping you'll admit to something they can't yet prove. Think about it. Smell is subjective. It's not on video. It can't be measured. Unless they find marijuana, that smell claim might not hold up. But if you admit it's yours, they don't need to find anything. You gave them everything. So what should you say? Stay calm. Stay polite. I prefer not to answer any questions, officer. You're not being rude. You're exercising your right to remain silent. And that right exists to protect you from incriminating yourself. If the officer keeps pushing, repeat it. I'm not answering questions without my attorney. Calm, clear, consistent. Bottom line, never admit ownership during a traffic stop. Your honesty won't earn leniency. It'll earn you charges. Stay silent, stay safe. Number 2, I only smoked a little earlier. The officer says they smell burnt marijuana. You panic and say, "Officer, I smoked a little earlier today, but I'm fine to drive." Bad move. You just handed them probable cause for a full DUI investigation. Here's what happens next. They'll shine a light in your eyes, make you step out of the car, field sobriety tests, walk the line, stand on one leg. And even if you pass every test, you're now in their system as someone who admitted drug use before driving. Here's the legal nightmare. Marijuana stays in your system for days or weeks. When you admit you smoked earlier, you've given them reason to believe there's THC in your blood now. If they take you for a blood test and find any amount, even trace amounts from days ago, that admission becomes the evidence that ties it all together. Here's the kicker. Field sobriety tests weren't designed for marijuana. Studies show they're unreliable for cannabis, but officers still use them. If you stumble or sway, that's evidence of impairment. Combined with your admission, you've built their case. So what should you do? When the officer asks if you've been smoking, the answer is simple. I prefer not to answer any questions. Don't explain, don't justify, just exercise your right to remain silent. Remember, officers interpret everything in the worst possible light. If you say, "I smoked earlier," they think, probable cause for DUI. And once that investigation starts, it's hard to stop. Your admission lives forever on body cam. Bottom line, never admit to using marijuana before driving. Your honesty won't protect you. It'll justify an arrest. Stay silent. Number 3, it's just for personal use. The officer finds marijuana in your car. You panic. "Officer, it's just for personal use. I'm not a dealer." Here's the problem. When you say it's just for personal use, you're opening the door to a conversation about intent, quantity, and distribution laws. Here's where your words matter. If you stay silent, the officer has to prove intent based on evidence. But when you say it's just for personal use, you've confirmed 2 facts. 1, you know it's marijuana. 2, you're making a distinction between personal use and distribution. That tells them you understand the difference. Now the officer asks follow-ups. How much do you buy? Where do you get it? Do you share it with friends? Every answer digs the hole deeper. I buy in bulk sounds like distribution. I share with friends sounds like distribution. Here's the legal reality. In many states, possession of small amounts can be charged as intent to distribute if there's evidence you plan to share or sell. Your own words can be that evidence. Defense attorneys call this talking yourself into a felony. So what's the right move? When the officer asks about quantity or intent, the answer is always the same. I'm not answering questions without my attorney. Don't explain, don't justify, just stop talking. Bottom line, never volunteer information about quantity or intent. Your explanation becomes evidence. Stay silent. Number 4. You can search, I have nothing to hide. The officer says they smell marijuana. Then comes the loaded question. Mind if I take a quick look in your vehicle? You say, sure, go ahead. I've got nothing to hide. Huge mistake. You just waived your Fourth Amendment protection against unreasonable searches. Without your consent, the officer needs probable cause. And I smell marijuana is a gray area in many states, especially where marijuana is legal. Courts are split on whether smell alone justifies a search, but when you say you can search, all of that goes out the window. You handed them permission to dig through everything. Here's the kicker. Once you consent, anything they find is fair game, even if it has nothing to do with marijuana. An old prescription bottle? Crime. A pocket knife over legal blade length? Evidence. Something you didn't know was there? Doesn't matter. You gave permission. Now let's talk about why officers ask. If they had solid probable cause, they wouldn't ask. They'd just search. The fact they're asking means they're fishing. They want you to give up your rights voluntarily. If an officer searches without consent and without clear probable cause, your lawyer can file a motion to suppress evidence. The case falls apart. But if you consented, everything sticks. So what should you say? Calmly and clearly. I don't consent to any searches, officer. That's the power move. You're asserting your constitutional rights. Once you say that, they can still search if they have legal cause. But your statement protects you in court. Bottom line, never consent to a vehicle search. Saying yes doesn't make you look innocent. It makes you vulnerable. Politely refuse and protect your rights. Number 5. My friend left it there. The officer finds marijuana in your car. You say, officer, that's not mine. My friend left it there. Here's the problem. You just admitted 3 things. 1, you know there's marijuana in your vehicle. 2, you have some idea how it got there. 3, you understand it's illegal. Lawyers call this constructive possession, and your explanation just proved it. Here's why. Constructive possession means you don't have to hold marijuana for it to be legally yours. You just have to know it's there and have control over it. When you say my friend left it in my car, you're admitting awareness and control. That's possession. Now the officer digs. Which friend? When? Why didn't you throw it out? Every answer creates more evidence. If you say you knew it was there, you've admitted knowing possession. If you say you didn't know but just said your friend left it, you've contradicted yourself. Either way, you're trapped. Here's the legal reality. Courts don't care whose marijuana it technically is. They care whether you had possession under the law. If it's in your car and you're the driver, you had control. Trying to blame someone else doesn't change that. It confirms it. So what should you do? If the officer finds marijuana in your vehicle, do not explain it. Do not make excuses. Just exercise your right to remain silent. I'm not answering any questions without my attorney. Bottom line, never try to explain away marijuana by blaming someone else. Explanations incriminate you. Stay silent and let your attorney handle it. Here's the truth. When an officer says they smell marijuana, you're in a legal interaction where every word matters. The officer's questions are designed to get you talking. You don't need to lie. You don't need to argue. You just need to be smart. Stay calm, stay respectful, and remember the golden rule. Never volunteer information. The less you say, the safer you are. Your rights only work if you use them. Marijuana laws are evolving. Some states have legalized it, some haven't. The law varies by state, but one thing is universal: your right to remain silent. your right to refuse consent to searches, your right to ask for an attorney. These rights exist to protect you. So when those lights flash, take a deep breath. Don't panic. You're not required to explain yourself. You're not required to let anyone search your car. Your job is to get home safely and protect your record. Let your lawyer handle the rest. Stay smart. Stay safe. And remember, silence is power. This video is for educational purposes only and does not constitute legal advice for your specific situation. Laws vary by state and jurisdiction. Every case is different. If you're facing charges related to marijuana or traffic stops, consult a qualified criminal defense attorney in your area. No attorney-client relationship is created by watching this content. If you found this video valuable and want to protect your rights during traffic stops, make sure to subscribe to this channel for more insider legal strategies that could save you time, money, and your freedom.